Hello and welcome everyone.
कामयाबी तो झक मार के पीछे आएगी, ये नहीं लिख सकता मैं.
Yes, you're always running.
I was alone when I started this Arcship. See, either you can discuss or you can dislike.
I mean, our bread and butter is coming from our assets and
Auto rickshaw drivers deny you a lot.
Business goes with loss and profit.
Hello to all our viewers. Welcome back to Sailing Success with Arcship. Hello everyone and welcome back to Sailing Success with Arcship. I am your host Jayarti Rai and today we are going to talk about a very exciting topic, career transition. Let us talk about the twists, the turns and the strategies that come along with this career transition. Joining us today is Mr. Abhishek Mittal who has mastered it all. His journey is nothing short of amazing. His journey spans from sailing, banking, and now a big entry into the UAE with the marine industry. Welcome, Mr. Abhishek.
Thank you, Jayati. Excited to be here.
Mr. Abhishek, pleasure is all ours. Your journey sounds like an adventure ride from sailing to commercial and strategic manager, and now you are entering the UAE. So, I just want to understand from you and know your story.
My story is it starts off all the way from schooling. You know, I come from a very average middle class background, and for my parents, it was always right. You know, study, focus, try to achieve something. That has always been the big driving force. But as I grew up, I also realized that achievements have different meaning to different people. And over a period of time, I realized that the more you pivot, the more you shift, the more you learn. And that has been a key theme between all the changes that I have made and something that we'll talk about today a bit.
Okay. For our listeners and viewers, a short story that I know that you did enroll yourself for marine engineering.
Yeah, that's true. That was so. I come from Dehradun. It's a small town in India, and funnily enough, we have two very key professions other than the doctors and engineers. It's either people go into the army or they go into the merchant navy. So the sea was somehow my calling. I wanted to join merchant navy from a relatively young age, and I got the opportunity to get into marine engineering. But somehow, few months into it, I realized that was not really for me. The sea was calling me just too much. So that's when I shifted to the deck side. I did a short pre-sea course with SCI at that time, and I started sailing quite early on. So I did 2 years of cadetship, and that's how my journey in the marine started.
Okay. So, would you like to elaborate about the pre-sea experience? Like, how do you enroll yourself? And if you would like to tell us more about the.
So lots of shipping companies have their own institutes. They have their own courses. It's a way to get cadets on board their own vessels and to train them. It works both ways. It helps both for people to get trained on the merchant vessels as well as for the companies to have a pool of officers. So for me, I was lucky enough to be selected by SCI at that time. SCI is one of the great companies within India where you could train and become officer in the merchant navy. And that's, for me, it was a no-brainer when I got the call from SCI. And I sailed with them for almost 6 years, which was quite an learning journey, quite a good learning journey for me.
Right. So, Abhishek, like they say, life comes full circle. So, you try to quit something and then you get back there, right in the marine industry, right?
I never was successful in quitting merchant navy. I left sailing. I was very passionate about finance and banking as well. And that led me to do an MBA in India. And I joined a bank, which happened to be a shipping finance bank. So I was with them for almost 11 years. So I never really left shipping, though it wasn't sailing directly. And now in my new role with Arcship, I am much more closer to the industry once again. But yeah, never really left shipping, or let's say shipping never left me.
Yeah, that sounds great. So, Mr. Abhishek, like the way you're explaining us your journey in the shipping industry, you have taken this big leap into the finance segment wherein you joined DVB and you have spent about 11.5 years with DVB. Can you please share your experience with DVB and what did you learn across the journey?
So DVB, I'd say, is one of it's the longest career period for me where I was with a single organization. It was a huge learning ground, but at the same time, what DVB gave me was the flexibility. So I joined DVB back in 2011, right after my MBA as an associate, and over the period of next 6 odd years I became a SVP. So it did give me the growth possibility. At the same time, it let me experiment. I started in market research. I did restructuring, and within the part of the restructuring team, we were overseeing the technical and commercial management of vessels. So again, was very close to commercial operations that time. Then I moved into pure credit risk, so doing financial analysis for all the loans that the bank was giving out. And in my last role within DVB, I was on the audit side. Now, if you look at all these roles, if you try to get into these different streams, if you will, as an individual, it's very, very difficult. But what DVB gave me was the platform where once I proved myself that I am a hardworking and an intelligent person who can take up any challenge, I got that flexibility. And although did not always have the perfect background, it gave me the opportunity to experiment and to learn something new every single time.
Coming to that, Mr. Abhishek. So basically, within DVB, you have been into different roles, is what I understand. So, what would you like to convey to our viewers? Like, would you give the pros and cons of the internal changes and the internal switch that we have within the company, or you support more of the external switches that people mostly talk about, like do not stick along or don't stay with the same company for many years. So, what are you voting for?
I'd say it works both ways. You know, both have their pros and cons. At times, I have felt myself that if I had switched to another company, switched to another role, maybe I had gotten that promotion faster or a salary hike that didn't come. But at the same time, what I feel is that when you're jumping across organizations, you would typically move in similar roles. The possibility of moving to quite different streams is fairly limited. And that's what I'd say is the big advantage of staying long term with a company. It lets you try new things, it lets you get new skills that otherwise would be slightly challenging. Nothing is impossible. You can always do courses, you can do different things to try and move your streams. But it's easier once you've built that capital, human capital, as I would like to call it, within an organization, and that lets you learn and try different things.
And I'm sure you also agree that it also gives a lot of responsibility to a person and to prove their credibility towards the company. And
Definitely, definitely. I mean, most organizations still, although we say that we want to move around, and companies sometimes don't value their current employees. But in my own experience, I have seen that the more the time you spend with a company, they do value that. And if you are really looking to grow into senior leadership roles, staying in one place for a longer time gives you that benefit. And of course, you want to rise up the corporate ladder, you need to have a breadth of experience. You can't stay in one role and say, I'm an expert of this single role and still expect senior leadership positions. That's usually difficult. But I'd say fix your target, your goal, where you want to get to, figure out what all aspects it requires, and then find those rotations. A very simple example, as a CEO of a company, you're responsible for everything. So does that mean you're an expert in every single thing? No. but you need to have a reasonably good understanding of marketing. You need to have a reasonably good understanding of sales. You need to have a reasonably good understanding of the strategic direction that the company has to take. And spending a couple of years, especially in your formative early years, in these functions can set you up for that success.
I totally agree with you. And coming to strategies, what you're talking about, I hear that you are a amateur chess player. So, would you like to tell us about chess and how do you balance it, with the work?
Yeah, so I'm an amateur chess player. That's the right way to put it. I don't play as often as I would like, but I learned chess as a young kid and then sort of lost it. About Around the COVID time, my son started playing chess as well, and so I got into it again. And I think chess is a fantastic game that helps you hone your skills of thinking ahead. Um, you have to not just think about what's best for you, but you have to start thinking about what's coming next and how do you take that next leap. Sometimes it's a leap of faith. Sometimes you can calculate, but sometimes it's just that leap of faith. And I've done that in my career as well. And I think chess helps me keep me on my feet and keep thinking on my feet.
I love how you have put your strategy and chess all together and incorporated that in your life. And then we see how wonderful you're doing now. So, Mr. Abhishek, for our viewers, would you like to give some tips where they can decide what should be the career path or what should be the transition that they should be looking forward to?
So I'd say when you are thinking about your career, you have to think long term. Don't think about your next move. Don't think about your next promotion. Think about where you want to be. And I know it almost sounds cliched, but think about your 10-year, 20-year goal. And not just in terms of your corporate title or your salary. Think in terms of what impact do you want to leave? What is it that you stand for? What are your values? And then using that, you do connect the dots backwards. That's where you see where you are and you find out what you need to do to get there. And that's how you can chart out the right way. And see, a career is not a straight line. I read it in a nice article and they say, you have to think of career nowadays as a portfolio of roles. So never think that I get into one role and I'm going to stay in it for the next 20 years. Think about your final objective. What is the impact you want to leave on this world? And what skills you need to get there. And that will help you come up with ideas on what your career could look like.
That's great, Mr. Abhishek. You know what? I was just reading about an article and it made me really feel very happy because the generation that we are now seeing is following their passion more than following the money, the promotions that coming in. And it really makes me feel very happy about it. And I really wish that we have more people realize that it's not about money, it's not about a designation, but it's more about your passion, and that's where you grow.
For the Bollywood aficionados there and who've seen Three Idiot, I like what Amir Khan says. Beta kabil bano, kamyabi to jhak maar ke piche aayegi. So that's sort of been my motto as well, become able, become good and excellent at what you do. Success will automatically follow.
Great and well said, Mr. Abhishek, because this is one movie which I personally love, and you can really see the difference when you see other people just, what they call ratta marna, and then Amir Khan doing his own thing, following his dreams, and trying to live his life to the fullest. And how the way he teaches everybody,
Correct.
like you have to follow your passion, and yes, success will follow. So, Mr. Abhishek, after being in the Netherlands for last 14 years, I also believe you're a Dutch passport holder.
Yeah.
And now you are making this big move into the UAE, shifting with your family. So, what are you thinking when you took this step?
Yeah, it was a big decision. It was not an easy decision. But for me, one of the guiding principles has been if not now, then when? I mean, I do not want to be 60 and then realize I wish I had done that. So this change is, and it reminds me of another saying that I firmly believe in. Growth comes at the end of your comfort zone. So I was in Netherlands for 14 years. Life was comfortable. I mean, there's absolutely no problem either financially or friend circle wise. It's all fine. But when Arcship gave me this new opportunity to join them here in Dubai, I took it on as a new challenge. And like I've spoken about the career transitions as well, right? You have to take these chances when you get. You have to know what your long term aim is. And when you get these opportunities, you have to leap at that. So for me, it was a very joint family decision. It was a decision taken with my wife and my kids. And yeah, I'm very excited about this move. It's gonna be new things. It's gonna be about finding a new place, understanding a new geography, making new friends. So really excited about this move.
Yeah, I can really feel the excitement here. So, Mr. Abhishek, you have already decided to come into the UAE. So, just one small tip from my end. This world is really fast paced.
Right.
You remember how they say that you're always running in Mumbai locals. It's
Right.
almost like that.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
yes,
Thank you.
lot of growth that this country is going to give you, going to be very successful. And, but yes, you're always running.
For those who don't know, I'm a amateur runner as well. I have done 4 marathons and 2 world majors, Chicago and Berlin.
Wow, is it?
Yeah, and I'm targeting getting my 6-star medal, hopefully by 2026. But let's see.
That's great. Like we say in UAE, inshallah.
That's something I still need to learn.
Yes, you're going to use that quite often here. So, yes.
Right.
And Mr. Abhishek, any parting thoughts for our viewers?
Couple of things. Number one, I've touched upon it before as well. Always focus on the long term. The company that you're in matters. The people you're working with matters. But focus on the long term. Think about what your objectives are. What is it that you want to be remembered for? When you are 60, 70 years later from now, when you are close to the day of reckoning, you do not want to have regrets. You want to be happy with what you did. Make friends, make a fool of yourself, have fun, but keep the long-term ideas in your mind.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Abhishek. What you shared with us is pure gold. And some points that are key takeaways for us is yes, follow your passion. Don't fall for only education, but there's determination that is required to grow and to be successful. So I'm sure all of us are going to take this learning from you, and let's hope everybody a big success, including you, and hope you have a very good time in the UAE and wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. It was
Thank you.
a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that's it for today for Sailing Success with Arcship. Remember, every career transition is a chance to reinvent yourself and grow. Until then, keep dreaming and embrace the adventure. See you soon.